त्वं हीनः पितावसो
ॐ त्वं हीनः पितावसो
त्वं माता शतक्रतो बभूविथ
त्वं माता शतक्रतो बभूवित
अधा ते सुम्नमीमहे
अधा ते सुम्नमीमहे।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
So we have very little attendance today. A lot of people are having some issues. Okay, so are there any questions? No. Okay. So we are on the 5th verse. Let us just recite it once.
Ma'am,
Yeah, tell me.
while not my question is not related to the last class, but the concept that you answered about aviveka being non-universal, it's a personal thing. So regarding that, there is one concept which is often associated and discussed in spiritual forums, is that like a food. For example, if a person consumes a food from a person who is not dharmic, maybe he has earned from some illegal activity, adharmic activities, so to say,
Mm.
and it is said that that food can also, harm you. So my question is that food, I know, can harm us, but that cause of that harm should be only of food. A person cannot transfer the burden of his adharmic activities on the food. Is it possible if the vivek is personal or avivek is personal, or consequences of what?
So Manu has also said in one of the verses that taking something, for example, from a robber is adharmic in itself. If you know, of course, that the person is a robber. So
Yes.
you can think of it something like if you are a jeweler and then this robber is bringing stolen stuff to sell it to you, and you
Hmm.
know that it is a stolen item. Still you
Hmm.
decide to take it from the robber, saying that I am doing business, how does it matter to me whether it is stolen or not? So you can see here, I think that it is not an ethical practice, and in fact most jewelers will not do it if they know that this is not an item which is legal, then they will not purchase it. But there will be some, what we will call shady jewelers, who will purchase that item. So
Hmm.
just like you get a little bit of that sin which the robber has committed, even though you did not do really anything as far as the robbery was concerned. But you are in the knowledge of the fact that this person did a wrong thing, and that is how he's holding this object. So that is where the sin can get, you can also obtain some sin. But as far as taking food is concerned, uh,
Consuming.
from just the very small description which you have given, it doesn't seem to me as if just taking food from a person who may be doing illegal things, uh, there is
And
nothing
that too
wrong
when
with
one
it.
is not aware.
If you
One
are
is not
not
aware if that
aware,
person.
then anyway, no sin will fall on you. But if you are aware, in that case, uh, if you are not promoting the person's activities in any way, then it should not lead to any sin, in my limited understanding. It's only when you are in some way promoting the illegal activities which this person may be doing, that the sin will fall on you also to some extent. You know that Manusmriti is one famous shlok, which I have also quoted many times, about how a person eating non-veg uh, leads to a whole chain of people who do sinful activities. So it's not only him who is eating, who is doing the sin, but the person who's procuring the animal, the person who is cutting the animal, the person who is cooking the animal. All these become part of the sin of feeding this person non-veg. So, like that, if that sin which this person is committing or has committed is somehow promoted by your action, then your action will have a component of sin also in it. Otherwise, it should be okay.
So
Because
Uttaraji,
the
sorry.
genesis of, sorry, you were saying something?
No, go ahead, go ahead. I'll ask at the end.
Okay. So, because the genesis of this very thought is linked to disassociation of Indians expanding into the foreign territories. Because in very late, in the past, it was believed that if we go to the foreign territories, we would get dharmic. And while the concept that you shared is certainly right, but a misunderstanding that just by being present in the dharmic location would make us a dharmic. So that
But
is
that
somewhere.
what you are saying, that is not actually accurate. This has happened, I should think, over the last 2000 years only, that
Hmm.
Indians have become ignorant somewhat. And so these kind of misconceptions have crept in. Otherwise, India is known for trading around the world. And in fact,
Yeah, I'm talking about only last 2000 years.
yeah, so that in that time, a lot of wrong understandings have crept in because of the ignorance. Because people stopped studying, the Brahmanas stopped functioning as Brahmins. They were not studying the Vedas. They were not able to teach the Vedas. So they did not know what was dharma, what was adharma. They were kind of flying by the wire and just saying whatever they felt like. So all these kind of things, the Shudras should not study the Vedas, women should not study the Vedas, all these kind of kuriti, what we call, all these crept in these last 2000 or 2500 years. So this is one of
Thank you.
those that we should not travel abroad. That is another one of those. Or even eating in somebody's house who cooks non-veg. There's nothing wrong
Hmm.
in that.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah, and
my point to some of the Dharma Sankata Prashna that Raunak is having, I can actually, the tradition itself says that if there are two dharmas, you should go with the more important dharma and not mind the other adharma that may end up happening. Is actually somewhere I think we have read in the Shastra only. And so, for example, if you are forced to eat at a place where there is some other thing, but you are doing that because that is the only option, or there is something unhealthy that is going to ensue if you reject, then it's okay, I think.
So that is called apad dharma. So, or dharma in um uh, an emergency, I can say. Okay, so if there is a famine, there is a story actually in Brihadaranyak that there is a famine and there is a sage who has not eaten for many days. So he finds um, a bullock cart driver who's sleeping under who's actually eating under the shade of his bullock cart. So he has some udad which is soaked, and he's just eating that as it is. So the sage asks him for part of that, and he eats that juda udad, you know, the udad which has been eaten by that gadiwan, the carriage driver. He eats even that because it is apadharma. So even though jhuta stuff, things which are eaten by somebody else should not be eaten by you, is a dharma in our tradition. That dharma also Ullangan is possible in under such extreme circumstances because of lack of food.
Yeah, I think very well said. So protecting one's own life for the higher cause is an important dharma.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even killing somebody for protecting yourself, that also, that self defense is also a thing which is allowed. But I guess Ronak was asking on a very small item, which which people can create confusion about. So it
Yeah.
leads to a doubt in our minds whether it's acceptable or not acceptable. Okay, let's start with.
One trick some people, Raunak ji, use to avoid. Suppose you don't want to consume food at a certain place, you claim some vrata. They will never suspect you. I have seen many people nicely use it. I am following a certain vrata, excuse me, but they will take water and all that, so that they don't think untouchable sense is there, which may not be there anyway. So
Yeah.
that's all. You do something like that.
But anyway,
Thank you.
it's not a sin, long and short. Okay. Samprapyanam rishayojnana truptaha
सम्प्राप्तैनं ऋषयो ज्ञानतृप्ताः
कृतात्मनो वीतरागाः प्रशान्ताः
कृतात्मानो वीतरागाः प्रशान्ताः
ते सर्वगं सर्वतः प्राप्य धीरा
ते सर्वगं सर्वतः प्राप्य धीराः
युक्तात्मानः सर्वमेवाविशन्ति
युक्तात्मानः सर्वमेवाविशन्ति.
So till now we were studying how you can attain Brahma, and what are the things, the do's and don'ts which are involved, and then we had reached a state where the person has entered Brahma Dhama. So now we are talking of the same thing. What happens next? So samprapya enam rishayah jnana triptaha. When these rishis, they attain this Paramatma, then they become jnana tripta. They become sated with knowledge. So much knowledge enters them that they become satisfied. Because remember that these sages are the ones who look for knowledge. Knowledge is the main sattvic component of our personality, and those who are sattvic always crave for more knowledge, and they are looking for truth, they are looking for the right path, and those who are dharmic are looking to attain moksha. So these sages, they are people, intelligent people who want more and more knowledge, and then suddenly it's like a portal opens, and knowledge starts uh, coming to them. Till now they were seeking knowledge, now it is as if knowledge will be given to them. So I wanted to share one yoga sutra with you. Anuj, can I maybe share? Okay, so there is one yoga sutra which says Ritambara Tatra Prajna. So this is the second last samadhi which is there. This is called Ananda Samadhi, in which the soul starts seeing itself. And it says that in that samadhi, the prajna, which is the knowledge of the soul, not of the brain or the buddhi, but of uh, the soul, that becomes ritam bhara. Rita is natural laws or truth. So these facts, the prajna becomes full of those. It just becomes uh, knowledge starts coming to it in from all directions. And that is the strange part. So this is the same thing what the sage is saying over here. Jnana triptaha. Kritatmano. Krita means done. And it is meant to imply that something has been achieved. So this soul which was seeking for the Lord has now found its ultimate goal. That is, it has seen the Lord. Vitaraga. It becomes Vitaraga, devoid of any attachment. Attachment only to worldly objects. When we talk of attachments, it is only to worldly objects. We do not say attachment to God. That is not considered. The word attachment is not used in that context. Then prashantaha, the person becomes absolutely calm because all worldly attachments are lost. So the emotions, the negative emotions which are generated because we are attached to worldly objects, those need not uh, arise again. Te sarvagam, sarvatah prapya, te dhiraha. Those steadfast people who have worked hard to stay on this path, they attain the Lord who is present everywhere. So Sarvagam, sab jagah gaya hua, the one who is present on all sides, omnipresent and omniscient, the one who knows everything. That is also implied by Sarvagam. So he is omnipresent and omniscient. They attain this Lord from all sides. So that has to be taken with a pinch of salt because you can never see God fully and from all sides, but you can see Him partially. But to the soul, that small knowledge itself is huge. It's just like, if to a kindergarten child, you tell them about space, that is huge knowledge for the child. So similarly, when the soul finds the Lord, even though it sees a fraction of God, that is good enough. That is just mind boggling for the soul. Yuktatmanaha. This is the soul. These are the souls, rather. This is everything is in plural. These are the souls that have connected with God and with themselves. Sarvameva avishanti. They enter sarvam, and sarvam here means all. That which is all, which we had seen in a previous verse, if you remember. We said that when the uh, seeker sees God, then he finds the whole of the universe sitting inside God, right? Yatra Vishwam Nihitam Bhati Shubram. So just like he had seen everything situated inside God, like that only now here God himself is being called Sarvam because everything is located within him, everything is controlled by him. So he is virtually everything. Okay, is that easy then? No problem here?
No,
So this
good.
is the situation we are
Yog
seeing.
Darshan,
Yeah, tell me. Yes, Ron.
Anuji, you are saying something?
No. I said everything is understood clearly.
I was saying Yog Darshan also says Prashant for Dhyan, right?
No, I don't think I've come across that word, Prashant.
Vyas Bhashya has some Prashant Vahi
Oh,
as
acha,
well.
Vyas Bhashya has. Okay, that is possible. That is possible. So this samadhi is before the last samadhi, which is Nirbij samadhi, Asmita samadhi. Actually, both these are Ananda and Asmita are both Nirbij samadhi only. And, Asmita is the last one in which the soul just is itself, which you can say culminates in Dharma Mega Samadhi, which 24 hours you are aware of the fact that you are yourself and your body is different. But in Samadhi, in meditation when we see it, then that is called Asmita Samadhi. Okay, let us go into the sixth one. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha
वेदांत विज्ञान सुनिश्चितार्थाः
Sannyasa Yoga Yatayah Shuddha Sattvaha
संन्यास योगात् यतयः शुद्ध सत्त्वाः
ते ब्रह्मलोकेषु परान्तकाले
ते ब्रह्मलोकेषु परान्तकाले
परामृताः परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे
परामृताः परिमुच्यन्ते सर्वे.
Okay, so we are continuing with that person who has become enlightened now. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha. Those who have determined well, Sunishchit, determined well, the meanings of the Vijnan, of the knowledge, which is the ultimate knowledge of the Vedas. So, Vedanta Vijnana, the ultimate knowledge of the Vedas, the person who has determined it, the meanings well, that person, sannyasa yogat. Sannyasa does not really mean the ashram of sannyas, but what goes into that ashram, which is tyaga of everything, all worldly possessions. So this person has, by giving up everything, shuddha sattva, his buddhi becomes shuddha, pure, purified of all ragas and dveshas. That kind of yati. Yati means one who is who is searching, who is persevering. So such people who are putting in great effort, te brahma lokeshu parantakale, they attain parantakale on leaving this worldly body. Brahma lokeshu paramritaha, they attain moksha in the lokas of Brahma, and sarve parimuchyanti, they are released of all bondage, or rather they give up everything including their body. Okay, so this Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitartha, now you should go back and return to the conversation which had happened first between Shaunak and Angira, where Angira had said in this verse, which is 115, that Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, all these he had called uh, Apara Vidya, and he had called the attaining of Brahma, of Akshara, Paravidya. So here also, when we are talking of this Sunishitartha, that is the implication over here, that what the Vedas were trying to tell you, which in the ultimate final scenario, they are actually talking about God, and they are telling you how to attain God. So if you have got that meaning, if you have managed to find God, then that is the Paravidya. The words of the Vedas themselves are apara, but what they are trying, where they are leading you, that is what is the para part of it, the meanings of those words and attainment of God. And that can be attained by leaving everything, virakti, from all worldly matter. That leads to a buddhi which is pure, which is now it can shut down and you can see your soul inside. What is interesting over here is actually Brahma Lokeshu. They have said uh, many Brahma Lokas. Okay, not one Brahma Dham as we had been seeing so far, but He's saying that at the end of his life, when he is leaving the body, then he is able to enter these Brahma Lokas and not Brahma Loka. So the whole realm of Brahma, this whole universe, the various habitats which are present throughout this universe, all these become available to this soul. This soul now has Swachanda Gati. It is able to move without any hurdle and roams freely. So one of the, we think that without a body, the soul has no capacity. But really speaking, soul is far more powerful than the body, and the body is actually restricting the capacities of the soul. So as the soul becomes freed of the body, the it becomes enormous. So that knowledge which was coming in, like we saw in the previous verse, that is also happening because the capacity of the soul to hold knowledge is far greater than the mind. So once you are freed of the mind and the soul is now coming into its own, it can gather far more knowledge. And similarly, even the gati of the soul, it is now not restricted to two legs to take it from here to there, but now it can move freely. It just has to think and it goes wherever it wanted to go. So all the Brahma Lokas open to the soul. Okay. Any question here? Okay, let us move to the next one, seventh one.
There is a bit of catch-22 by saying parimuchyanti. The parimochana bhava in the Martya Loka only leads to the Swarga Loka. So again, I say, okay, they continue to be in the Mukta state is how you can say, I guess.
I didn't get your question actually.
No, because the entry to the Brahma Loka is because of the Moksha Bhava, acquiring of the Moksha Bhava in the Martya Loka, right? So Parimuchyanti is not necessarily something that happens only in Brahma Loka. It starts happening as you exit.
No, this is actually talking of the final release. So till the time you are in this loka, you are connected to the body. So there are certain things which the body demands, which even though now you are a little separate from the body, you have to feed it. You have to do some daily functions for the body. You cannot sit in meditation for 24 hours. You have to move around. So all these things you have to do for the body because the body needs certain things. So all those are still there with you. They are far reduced from when you live a worldly life, but they are still there. So all those commitments, all those requirements are all gone once now you have quit the body and you are completely free. And
Okay.
as
Why I was probably liking the Jivan Mukti state was these people are still useful for the society. That's the only lalaj.
yes, they are. And as I've told you, these people now have a control of when they can leave their body. So that control is handed over by God to them. While God determines our worldly people's death, for such people, this control of when to leave the body is given to the soul. And the Jivan Muktas can continue if they feel that they are performing a good function and they are able to transmit some of their knowledge and they have found some worthy students to teach it to, they may continue. And
So
in
then
fact,
that
we
is the
know,
second desire that is acceptable. First desire is the desire to be with God. Second desire is the desire to propagate knowledge.
as I've told you, knowledge and things linked with knowledge are not called desire. So just, I mean, because we are short of words, we can call it desire in the sense that we want to be close to God, we want to spend time with God, or we want to transmit our knowledge to our students, or we want to gain knowledge. All these things, while we are short of a separate word which says that there is no worldly
Yeah. It instead of sukha, what we get is ananda. Yeah, correct.
yeah, so that is why we are saying desire, but otherwise it does not have any consequence. There is no rag or dvesh with it. You will not get a feeling of anger or jealousy or anything. If somebody is more learned than you are, you don't feel jealous. You are in fact thinking, okay, let me gain something more from this person. If you are truly a knowledge-seeking person, of course, if you are a professor in an institute, maybe you are jealous.
Yeah, qualified
Yeah.
correctly. Like here, I know, for example, I feel so happy seeing a young Raunak, being so wise.
Ronak is getting blessings from a lot of people. Okay. गताः कलाः पञ्चदश प्रतिष्ठा
गताः कलाः पञ्चदश प्रतिष्ठा
देवाश्च सर्वे प्रतिदेवतासु
देवाश्च सर्वे प्रतिदेवतासु
कर्माणि विज्ञानमयस्य आत्मा
कर्माणि विज्ञानमयश्च आत्मा
हरे व्यये सर्व एकी भवन्ति
परे व्यये सर्व एकी भवन्ति.
So, by the way, this is called Trishtup Chanda, and most of Mundak is in this Chanda. So, Gataha Kalaha Panchadasha, the 15 kalas which the soul had got linked to because of the body, those leave it. Deva Sarve Devascha Prati Devatasu Pratishtha. All the senses. Here the Devata means the senses. So all the senses they return to each of their Devatas. Deva refers to the senses and Devata refers to their causal form from where they arose. So I will tell you some more of this later on. Karmani Vijnana Mayasya Atma. The karmas of the soul and the soul itself, which is now Vijnana Maya. It is full of knowledge. Pare Avyaye Sarve Eki Bhavanti. In that Avyaya, in that Akshara, Paramatma, which is indestructible and which is beyond everything, Para, they become one. All meaning the karmas and the Vijnanmaya Atma. Okay, so first of all, don't take it as uh, uh, proof for Advaitvad, that now the soul loses its identity and it has become one with Brahma. No, it has become only one in the sense that you mix sugar and water and then you say, okay, now this is sugar water. So it has become one. But the sugar remains distinct and the water remains distinct. They do not become one. Okay. So gataha kalaha panchadasha. So these kalas are parts. Okay. So we had studied in Prashnopanishad, if you recall, that there are Shodasha kala. There are 16 kalas to every being. So these kalas are, first one is prana. Prana, Shraddha, then the Pancha Mahabhuta, 7, then the Indriya, all the senses. So that is 8, Mana, mind, 9, Anna, that is the food which the being consumes, Virya, that is the reproductive power, Tapa, mantra is knowledge, Tapa is the Sukha Dukha which the uh, being has to suffer, Karma, the actions that it performs, Loka, the bodies that it accepts, and Nama. So Loka also implies Rupa because we call something a body because it has a form. So that is Rupa. And so Loka is equal to Rupa and Nama. Nama means a sanjna for that being. Okay, so that when you occupy a body, you get a name associated with it. So I am Uttara. So to distinguish me from somebody else, you will use the name Uttara. So this nama is also something which is there, which comes along with the body. Okay, so these are the 16 parts which are part of the body. So those, if we remove the indriya from it, then indriya is being covered separately. So all those which were everything which was linked with the body is now shed by the soul, and the senses, they return to their causal forms. So if you remember some Vedic mantras we have, which they are which part of the Param Purusha, uh, the senses have arisen. So we have learned that the Shrotra has arisen from Akasha, the Chakshu has arisen from Prakasha. So like that, or or in the case of Param Purush, from his Chakshu, Prakash has arisen. So actually, what is implied over there is that from light, eyes have arisen. Actually, that's a very, very deep statement, because animals which do not ever see light, they actually don't have eyes. So where there is light, there is a sensory organ which can perceive that light. So in our thing, it is said that those primordial substances themselves have led to the creation of the sense. Since the senses are themselves, what is being referred to here are the subtle senses. They are not the gross things that we see, the eyes and the ears and the nose, etc. They are the subtle ones which are covering the soul. These things which we are talking about, they are also subtle elements which uh, the soul is covered by. And now all these, just like your gross elements, they return to their original form. For example, the Prithvi Tattva, which is there in your body, once your body is burnt, it returns to being Prithvi, Earth. Similarly, everything, even the subtle ones, they return to their subtle causes.
Bhagini,
This
Shodasha Kalaha is how it is described. Here,
mm,
Panchadasha. So, what is that one kala that is not
the
counted?
senses. So
Senses.
Devascha
Oh.
survey. So Cha Deva is there. So those have been separated out here because he wanted to give you this extra knowledge that they return to Pratitevatasu Pratishtha. So he wanted to tell you that. So he segregated only the Indriyas and
Oh,
fit
okay.
separately.
Okay.
Okay.
But then Shodesh Kala also has man, which
Mana
are
in it.
even
You're
finer
right. You're
than.
right. So mana is normally connected with Chandra. Okay. So that is a gross item. So my guess is, I can only guess on this, that mana is not being considered as something which is, it is like man and buddhi are even subtler. So maybe they are considered under Indriya here. And then what are the Pancham Dasha Kala? Some people have said actually here the Panchadasha Kala, for the same reason what you have brought out, even I had a doubt. So in one of the commentaries I find that they have said that it is the Pancha Mahabhut, and the that is the gross ones, and then the subtle ones, and then the Pancha Prana. So they have actually interpreted this Panchadasha Kala as those 15 rather than the Shodasha Kala of Prashni. So you are at liberty to take it that way as well. You are at liberty. Either way, there seems to be a little bit of a gap, I would say. That is true. Then Karmani Vijnana Mayascha Atma. So here, generally interpreters have taken that karmas are all destroyed. Once you have attained enlightenment, then no karmas are left. I have always felt that this is incorrect. And the next body which you will get after moksha, which you do get after the very long period of moksha, when you get the next body, it has to have some avidya in it. And that avidya will be determined by the karmas which are left over. So once you achieve enlightenment, the karmas stop, the consequences of the karmas stop. But the karmas are like kept in abeyance till your next birth, when they will become active again. And that is what I feel is being said here as well, that the karmas now, they go into Brahma himself. So now Brahma will determine when these karmas will go back and attach to you. Till then, they are in abeyance. And this soul, anyway, it becomes, uh, it forms part of God, and it can do Swachanda Vicharan inside God, which we call Eki Bhava. But be careful, this is not becoming God himself, but now becoming, now being inside God, like in a solution, like I told.
Always kept ready to go back.
Yeah, no, but there is great ananda in that state. And being with God itself is just enormous anand. And being able to gain knowledge from Him is even greater anand. Okay, I actually have a question here that I will tell you that in the next one. यथा नद्यः स्यन्दमानाः समुद्रे
यथा नद्यः स्यन्दमानाः समुद्रे
हस्तं गच्छन्ति नामरूपे विहाय
हस्तं गच्छन्ति नामरूपे विहाय
तथा विद्वान् नामरूपाद् विमुक्तः
तथा विद्वान् नामरूपाद् विमुक्तः
परात् परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम्
परात् परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम्.
Now he tells you about this Eki Bhava. So he says, just like the flowing rivers, they merge with, they go into the samudra, into the ocean, leaving behind their names and their separate names and forms. Similarly, the Vidwan, this enlightened soul, it is devoid of nama and rupa. Nama rupat vimukta, released of the name and form. Parat param, purusham, upa eti, divyam. That divine Lord, Purusha, which is beyond what is beyond, which is greater than what is greatest, it now approaches that being. Upa eti comes close to that divine being, that supreme divine being. So here you can see there is a little bit of, you can say, dichotomy here. While on the one hand, the waters of the river, they really become one with the samudra, and it's difficult to separate the water of the river from that of the ocean. The Vidwan who is there, he only approaches God. So while he is now in close intimacy with God, but he does not become one with God. So that you should remain careful. And Nama and Rupa. So he loses the name, which, as I told you, came with the body, and the form, which also came with the body. He is now a point being with no length, breadth, and height. It is actually not made of matter, the soul. So it is, I can best describe it as a point being. Now, this point being does not have a way in which it can be described. So it loses its form and its name. So my question is, of course, I feel that these enlightened souls would be interacting with each other when they are in the Muktavastha, and they would be able to distinguish each other. So how do they distinguish each other? What is the difference between them? That is an open question for me right now. I have not reached the answer of that one.
I
Okay.
think devascha sarve pratidevatasu, that kind of answers a bit in the sense that the senses remain in the subtle form, so they using the sensory perception in the subtle form itself, they are able to communicate perhaps.
No, they have that capacity within themselves. Souls themselves can perceive a lot of things. In fact, they can perceive more than your senses. But what they perceive and how they interact with each other, because I have not come across anywhere where it says that, the souls interact, but they stay on dulo. That is what it comes out over and over again, that all the muktatmas, they stay on the stars, our sun, other stars as well. So in which case I should think they will interact with each other.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that will be useful.
correct, correct, correct. To just be with God, I think all the time may not be, uh, interesting enough.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it is more interesting to think of God as a collection of all these atmas. So mutual interaction is important, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I feel.
Can you hear me, Uttara, now?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. In the beginning, I had a problem unmuting myself. Then I figured out.
Okay.
But the why I want to come in right now is there is this collection of books by the famous psychologist, psychiatrist Brian Weiss.
Right, right.
Okay,
True.
and his books, if we read, it's so much into, because he has done all this. Many of his books are based on the his therapy, which was regression,
Mm,
and during the therapy, how he was able to speak to the masters basically referring to the souls,
mm,
and each one of our Hindu, beliefs, how it is validated in the Western, scientifically validated, is very amazing.
mm,
And I was just remembering how the souls, or he refers to them as masters, do interact among themselves. And some things that I would want to read more and understand is, you have always said that the soul doesn't choose how it will be or when it will be reborn.
right.
Whereas in these regression therapy sessions, it comes out like more like, okay, the soul also chooses when it will leave that state with God, or whatever we call, and then
Mm,
come back to take another birth and get another experience, and
mm,
go through life again. So it's like when they are ready, there is like a slot for you to come back, and if you miss that, you will stay back till you get the next. It runs something like that, but it's really amazing how the
some of the ideas connect. Yes,
ideas connect, basically. And
correct, correct. True. Even in our mythology, actually, you come across these sages, right, who come and to the mortal beings. They are now immortal, but they come over to the mortal beings and they assist them in some way or the other. That is another aspect of these immortals, which I feel would be correct. You
that
know,
that I absolutely agree, because after my husband's death, we feel that he is with us throughout, guiding us in some way or the other.
mm,
And I mean, we started reading Brian Weiss only because some people who had read and benefited also recommended it to us, because we were very, very depressed,
right, right.
and trying to,
Grapple with the situation.
handle the grief.
Yeah.
So somebody had actually suggested, and that's how we bought the whole series. And then each one is so very interesting. And the first one to start with, once you start, you will not put it down, kind of thing. And it's so much validates many of the things that we believe in. And he also says that it is so much into, and he goes into, in fact, saying how Christianity also believed in rebirth. Later on, the whole thing changed at some point, and they switched. So many things happen, kind of thing. How
Right.
every religion, actually, if you go and go deep into it, how every religion has more or less, accepted this theory of
Rebirth.
rebirth, and where your souls also go, then they go through their experience, and then depending on, see, because there are souls which are highly evolved, and souls which are yet to evolve to that level, and then so it's very, very interesting that way.
Yeah, yeah. But take it with a pinch of salt, because yeah, not the methods are, I would say, pseudoscientific. They are not 100% scientific, so they are not absolutely accurate, and sometimes even the facts become little bit hazy. They are not always correct. So they are little bit, take it with a pinch of salt. Okay. So yo tat param brahma veda.
स यो
यो
ह वै तत्परमं ब्रह्म
वेदम्
Veda Brahmeva Bhavati Nasya Brahma Ved Kule
ब्रह्मैव भवन्ति
भवति
न्यास्या
यस्य
ब्रह्मवित्
Kule
भविकुले
Bhavati
कुले
Tarati
भवति
भवति
Tarati Shokam Tarati Papamanam
तरति
तरति
शोकं
शोकं
तरति
Tarati
तरति
पाप्मानं
Manam.
पाप्मानम्
Guha Grantibhyo Vimukto Mrito Bhavati.
गुहाग्रन्थिभ्यो
गुहाग्रन्थिभ्यो
विमुक्तो मृतं
विमुक्तो
भवन्ति
भवन्ति
So as you can see, this is actually in prose. It is not in that Trishtuk Chand. So that is why we were going a little bit awry. So here who were Tatparam Brahma Veda. Now this is Phala Shruti, okay, of this person who has become enlightened. What are further benefits which this person receives? So this person who has achieved Brahma, who has come to know Brahma Veda, Paramam Brahma, the ultimate Brahma, the supreme Brahma, Brahmava Bhavati. He becomes Brahma himself. Na asya abrahmavit kule bhavati. In his family, there is nobody who does not know Brahma. Tarati shokam. He goes beyond sorrow. Tarati papamanam. He goes beyond papa, sin. Guha grantibhyo vimukto amrito bhavati. All the knots which existed in his buha, in his soul, that I am this body, I have this sorrow, I have this family who is mine, all those various delusions which this soul suffered, and the many many doubts which it had, all those knots are cut. It becomes free of those knots. Amritaha bhavati. It becomes amrita, devoid of death. It leaves a cycle of birth and death. So here again, we are seeing that it is said that he becomes Brahma only. So while the words are saying that he becomes Brahma only, what it means is that he also becomes great. Just like Brahma is called Brahma because he's so huge and so fantastic. Similarly, this person also gains great powers. If you read Manusmriti, he's called Vishwakarma even, that he can now create things. So how far all those things really work, it is for your guess is as good as mine. but that is what is believed, that he gains great superpowers, and that is why he also becomes Brahma. Of course, other things like nobody in his family is a Brahma with that, otherwise some of us would also be Brahma with, because we are coming down from those families where somebody became Mukta. So these are a little bit of hyperboles. Obviously, his immediate family will gain from the fact that he has come to know Brahma. But also, we know that typically the person takes sannyas and leaves the family and is roaming in the whole world. So, is this family now, which is being talked about, his Gurukul, any ashram which he was in the as a vanprasth, or the people who came into contact with him when he was a sannyasi, or his actual family? See, these are just, these are just take these words little bit lightly. Okay, I think we'll have to end here today. Any more question is there? No. Okay, then let me share this one with you. The Shanti Pot. See, some of these questions are also not answered always, because the answers are beyond us in the state that we are in. Even if somebody tries giving us an answer, either we will not understand at best, or we will misunderstand, which is even worse. You have your very, very limited knowledge and experience, and in that experience, this whole thing doesn't fit. So that is why sometimes, these people don't explain everything to the end.
And there is another Ved mantra of Atharved, Akamo Dhiro Amrita Swayam. That also reverberates with this Upanishad a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That was what you're saying. Correct. Okay. Om Yate Rudra Shiva Tanur
Om Yate Rudra Shivatanu
Aghora Papa Kashini
Aghora Papakashini
Sayanastanva Shantamaya
Tayanastan Vashantamaya
Girishanta Bhichakashih
Girishanta Bhichakashihi.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. धन्यवाद गुरुवर्य.
Namaste. Sadhika Namaste.
नमस्ते.